Yo, what is up? So in this tutorial, we're going to be setting up a stamina system. So if you look in the top left, we got a progress bar. If I sprint, we start to drain stamina. If we stop, we start to gain stamina. And if I go all the way down to 0, it'll stop. But and also you know, like we got a lot of tweaks on like bugs and stuff that can happen with stamina systems. So we got a lot of things in place to make sure a lot of these common stamina bugs don't happen. Like, say if you're standing still and you try to sprint, like, it'll drain, but stuff like that. So, yeah, let's just hop into it. Alright, so, the first thing we're gonna do is we need to make we're gonna make an actor component for our player stats that we're gonna store some stuff inside of. So let's go to our first person folder, blueprints, and we're gonna make a folder in here called components. We're going to open this guy up, and we're going to make a blueprint class, and we're going to make an actor component. And it says here, an actor component is a reusable component that can be added to any actor. So basically, this is something where you can, you know, add variables, add a bunch of code, and easily add it onto other things like character, any other actor, pretty much. It just depends on what you put inside here and how you want to use them. But they're very useful, so we're gonna name this BPC underscore player stats. There we go, player stats. And we're gonna open up this guy, and all we're really gonna be using this for is storing variables. You could do the code and make all the functions inside of here if you wanted to, instead of putting it on your player character. But I'm just gonna put it on the player character. But if you want a cleaner project, then all the functions and stuff that we make inside of this, I would just make them inside of here and then call them later when we're doing our, you know, calling our functions and stuff. But first variable is going to be current health. We're not doing anything with health now, but we're going to go ahead and add it. So current health, we're going to add a max health. Compile and save. We're gonna go ahead and set both of these default values to 100. And we're just gonna duplicate this, and this is gonna be our current stamina. And we're gonna duplicate that one. And this is gonna be our max stamina. Then we're gonna compile and save, and I believe that's all we need in here. Yep. So we can get rid of that guy. And then the next thing we want to do is we're going to add this to our first person character. So we'll just close this guy down, go to your blueprints, first person character, and you come up here to add, and we're just going to look for player, BPC player stats, and that is now a part of our player character. So cool. And while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and comment this. Let's call this interaction check and comment this and call it HUD ref. Just kind of clean that up real quick. Cool. Alright, so we're going to be changing some things with our sprint and crouch for this. So let's see. This is first thing. We can go ahead and change our crouch real quick. So instead of doing the flip-flop here, I changed it to an is crouching because some of the things we're going to be changing with our sprint, the flip-flop will break. So we're just going to add a branch here, and we're going to check if we are crouching. So is crouching. Plug this guy into the started here. And if we're not crouching, then we want to crouch. And if we are crouching, then we want to uncrouch. And I'm just going to flip these guys around because these crossing lines here are going to bug me. So let me just try to clean this up here. Cool, that should be good. Should be all we need to do. Let me just double check this. Yeah, should be good there. Didn't mean to close that. Okay, so we can close this guy. That's good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a progress bar to our player HUD. So let's go ahead and do that. Compile, save. And for me, I'm going to actually add a UI pack that I have. You can add any UI packs you have if you have any, but I'm just going to do it because I like the visuals. So the one I'm going to be using is one called Painted UI. I think it's pretty cheap from what I remember. I need to go to my library. UI. Why are you not showing? Fab is broken once again. Let me restart it. Oh, and it's still broken. Fab is fabulous. Okay, let's go back to my library. UI. Right here, Painted UI. I forget how much it is, but I remember it being pretty cheap. I'm just gonna add that to the project. Did it add? It did. Cool. Alright, so let's go to our first person folder, blueprints, widgets, HUD right here. And we're just gonna search for progress bar right here. We're gonna add this to the canvas panel. And I'm just gonna size this up to, what did I have it at? Size X 380, size Y 50. So I'm gonna set this to 380. Size Y to 50. And the location 75 and 50. So I'm gonna set this to 75. Set this to 50. And I'm gonna rename this to stamina bar. And I'm gonna go into the style here, background image and fill image. And I'm gonna go find the stuff from my pack that I want to put on here. So player bars here, health bar empty. This is gonna be the background image. And then player health bar full. This is gonna be the fill image. That is not showing for some reason. Oh, our percent is 0. Let's just move that up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that should be all we need for here. Yes. So I can get rid of that guy. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to make a function called initialize stats. So go into your graph and we're just gonna make a function in here. We're gonna call it initialize stats. And what we're gonna do in here is we're gonna grab a sequence. So press S on your keyboard and click, hook this guy up. And we're gonna set stamina. So I have another function for that, which is this guy. So we're just gonna get our player ref and our player stats component. So just grab the player ref here. And we're gonna get player stats, get BPC player stats. And we want to get our current health. We want to divide this by our max health, or not health. We're gonna do stamina first. We're doing stamina. Yeah, let's do stamina. Get current stamina and max stamina. Max stamina. So we're gonna get our current stamina. We're gonna divide this by our max stamina. And the reason you do this is because if you look on our progress bar, the way that this works is we basically set the percentage of the progress bar. And if you do the math here, your current stamina divided by your max stamina will always return a value between 0 and 1, which is how the percent here works. The percent is always a value between 0 and 1. So we do this so we get the accurate representation with how the progress bars work. So after that, we're just going to grab our stamina bar. And we are going to set percent. And we're just going to plug this guy into %, plug this guy into the sequence here. And I'm just going to move all of this over. And then I'm going to highlight all of this stamina part, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to collapse to function, and I'm just going to call this set stamina. Cool, and that's all we need inside of this function. So we can get rid of this guy. And we're going to go to the event graph, and on our event construct, we're just going to call our initialized stats. And what this is doing is on begin play, it will set our stamina bar to be exactly what our stamina is. So if I pull this guy down, you see right now it's like 0.4. So if I press play, it should fill. Yeah, you can see it just fills it up to be accurate to how much stamina we have when we press play. So that's all we're doing there. That can go away. Alright, so next, what we want to do is, let's see what we got going on here. This update stamina, yeah, we can go and set up our update stamina. So in our first person character, we're going to make an event dispatcher called update stamina. Compile, save, go back into our HUD. And what is going on here? Let's comment this. Press C. We're going to call this update keys held. And I'm just going to try to clean this up a little bit. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to go down here. We're going to get our player ref. And we're going to get our update stamina. Bind event to update stamina. We're going to make a custom event called update stamina. And we're going to plug this guy in here. And I'm just going to duplicate that custom event there and copy the name. And paste that name in, call it bind or add bind to it. Plug this guy in, and then we are just going to set stamina off of that. So we can go ahead and comment this, just highlight it. We'll just call this update stamina. And just add it to the list of things here. And then we're going to go to event construct, and we're going to update stamina. So what this is going to do is, this is what we're going to use to update our progress bar instead of creating a binding on the %, because this runs on tick, this way does not. So that's why we're doing this. Cool, so that should be all we need here. So let's delete that guy. See what this is. We don't need that. We don't need that. Alright, so we should be good to go ahead and hop into, what is this? Don't need that. Should be good here. Now we just need to hop into our player blueprint and do all the changes in here, which is quite a bit. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to add a boolean called isMoving. So on our excuse me, on our movement input here, we're going to add a boolean here called isMoving ? And at the end of this right here, we're going to set isMoving to be true. And then I'm just going to copy this and paste it down here. Take this little arrow guy, and on completed, we're going to set isMoving to be false. And that should be good. We got some other functions we're going to add to this later, but we don't have those functions yet, so I'm just going to move that guy behind. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're gonna update our crouch is already updated, right? That should be good. I don't need this screenshot. So we can get rid of that guy. Alright, so yeah, on our sprints, we're going to be making a lot of changes here. So the first thing we want to check is if our current stamina is greater than 0. So, on our sprints, we're going to need a lot of room, so just make some room. Cool. I'm just going to pull some of this back. And I'm going to pull in our player stats right here. And I'm going to get our current stamina. Get current stamina. And we're going to see if this is greater than 0. And we're going to grab a branch. So press B on your keyboard and click. Hook this guy to the started. And hook this guy to the condition. And just throw this guy up there. So, if it is greater than 0, then we want to check if we are crouching. So, throw that guy in there. And if we are not crouching, let me just move this guy back. We're going to be changing that too. So, if we're not crouching, we're just setting the max walk speed and set is sprinting, and we're going to set drain stamina, which is a custom event we don't have yet. So this part should be fine. But if we are crouching, we want to see if we are moving. So, let's just duplicate this branch here, and we're going to check if we are moving. Right here. Hook the true of this guy into here. So make some more room up here. And if we are moving, then we want to drain stamina. But that is a function we don't have yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add... the way we have it right now is that if you're crouching, you can't sprint at all. But something that a lot of games like this do is if you're crouching and you try to sprint, it'll bring you out of the crouch and you'll start sprinting. So that's what we're going to add here. So we're going to grab our uncrouch. We're just going to copy all of this right here and plug this in to true. Like that. And we can test that out real quick. So if we press play and we crouch and we sprint while we're crouching, it brought us out, but that did not set our max walk speed. Because we don't have that set. Let me find the next picture. Yeah, so at the end of set half height, we're going to set max walk speed and is sprinting and stuff too. So we're going to copy this part right here and just paste this to the end. So just set your max walk speed and set is sprinting. So if we're crouching and then we try to sprint, it'll pull us out of the crouch and we'll start sprinting. And if we go back, and yeah, it'll just pull you out of the crouch. So that should be good. So the next important one we're gonna need is our drain stamina function. So let's go ahead and set that guy up. So we're gonna make a custom event over here. Like I said earlier, if you want to, you can make these custom events in your BPC player stats and just call them. So you would just get your BPC player stats and call your custom event from there. I'm just going to make them right here. But yeah, we're going to make custom event. And we're going to call this drain stamina. And let me find my drain stamina custom events. Is it this one? No. This one right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a timer by event. So first thing is set timer by event. We're just gonna plug this guy in. And we're gonna go ahead and call our drain stamina right here on the true. Because we will need that. And we're gonna set the time. What did I have the time to? 0.1 and looping. We're gonna set the time to 0.1 and take this guy to be looping. And we're gonna add another custom event. We're gonna call this drain stamina timer. And we're also gonna promote this guy right here to a variable. This is gonna be our drain stamina timer handle. And first thing we want to do on here is we want to clear our add stamina timer handle, which is something we don't have yet, but we can make real quick because that's something else we're gonna need. So just copy all of this, and this will be the start of our add stamina timer. We can rename this guy add stamina, and rename this one to add stamina timer, and then delete that guy, promote this guy to a variable. This is going to be our add stamina timer handle, like that. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to grab our add stamina timer handle. We're going to clear and invalidate timer by handle, because if we're draining stamina, we don't need to be adding stamina. So first thing we do is make sure this is not running. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to check if we are moving. So grab a branch, and we're going to grab our is moving boolean here. And if we are not moving, I have a custom a function for stop sprinting. So we can go ahead and make that as well. So I'm going to make another custom event down here called stop sprinting. So let me find that one. Should be this one right here, I believe. Yeah, so the first thing in our stop sprinting custom event is we're setting our max walk speed. So grab your character movement, set max walk speed, and this is just going to be your walk speed. We're not sprinting, which is I believe 250. Yes, 250. Plug this guy in. Then the next thing is we want to set that we are not sprinting. So grab our is sprinting bool, set that guy to false. And then we want to clear our drain stamina timer handle. So grab our drain stamina timer handle, and we're going to clear and invalidate. And plug this guy right there. And then what we want to do is we want to check if our current stamina is less than or equal to 0. So we're going to grab our player stats. We're going to check our get current stamina. And we want to see if this is less than or equal to 0. And we're going to grab a branch. So just plug this guy in. Plug this guy right here. So what we're doing here is so in a lot of games that have stamina systems like this, before they add stamina, if your stamina has been completely depleted, a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll wait. They'll wait a second before they start letting you gain stamina again. So what I'm doing here is I'm checking to see if your stamina is completely drained, and if it is, it waits 1 second before it starts giving you stamina back. And if it's not, then it immediately starts giving you stamina back. So that's the idea behind what this guy is. So we're gonna add a delay, so press D on your keyboard and click. Plug that guy in. I'm gonna delay it 1 second. And we're just going to call our add stamina function here. So just add stamina. Plug this guy into the delay, duplicate it, and plug it into the false right here. And that is our stop sprinting completely done right here. So just comment this guy. We're going to call it stop sprinting. All we need for that one. So now we're going to go back up to our drain stamina here and get rid of this guy. So if we are not moving, then we want to stop sprinting. So we're going to call our stop sprinting right here. And if we are moving, then we want to call our update stamina event dispatcher. So update stamina, pull this guy in, call it on the true. And then we want to do our maths for how much stamina we're going to drain. So we're going to get our player stats. We're going to get current stamina. And then we want to subtract. I think I had it at 0.5. Subtract 0.5, yeah. You can make this whatever you want. And if you want to, you can make it a variable just to easily change it. Call this drain stamina amount. Sure. Make that a variable. And then we're going to pull off of this guy and we're going to clamp float. And our min is going to be 0 and our max is going to be our max stamina. So just duplicate this. We're going to get our max stamina and plug this guy into the max. Like that. And I'm just going to duplicate this guy again. And we're going to set current stamina to be the result of this. So plug this guy into the event dispatcher there. And that should be good. So the next thing we want to do, let me grab my next picture here, which is gonna be, so we're gonna check to see if this is less than or equal to 0. So pull off of this, we're gonna see if it's less than or equal to 0, and grab a branch. And if it is less than or equal to 0, then we want to stop sprinting. So this is basically saying if we run out of stamina, then you can't sprint. No more sprinting. Which, that should be working. We could test that real quick. So if we sprint, it doesn't seem to be updating. So let's see why. We are calling sprint, drain stamina, update stamina. Let's make sure we called that in our HUD. I'm pretty sure we did. Widgets, HUD, graph, update stamina, bind event to update stamina, which we called up here. So let's see. Let's debug this. So let's press play. And we're going to choose our first person character. And we're going to see what is making it not update. So if we sprint, it doesn't look like it's ever being called. But okay, so something wonky is going on in this part. If our current stamina is greater than 0, let's make sure our current stamina is greater than 0. So let's open up our player stats. Current stamina is 100. Play. False is crouching is false. Oh, we need to update some of the things that were going on down here. So, let me see what it was. Yeah, so we need to add our drained stamina right here. So we can just copy our drained stamina function here. Add to this right there. I'm just gonna move that guy down. Alright, so now let's test that again. So now if we sprint, we drain stamina, you can see that the progress bar is updating now, but we don't have all of our add stamina stuff working yet, so if we let go, it stops draining the stamina, but it doesn't start adding stamina back, so still got a little bit to do. Alright, so we do have that working. We should... So on completed, while we're here, let's go ahead and add the stop sprinting to the on completed. Right here. So we're just gonna stop sprinting. Plug this guy into the completed. Delete all of this. And that should be all we need for this part of it. So let's go ahead and delete that picture. So, we were on this. This should be done as well now. Which was this one. So delete that guy. This one is also done. We don't need that one. So now we just need to work on our add stamina. I believe that's all that's left. Yeah. So all we need to do is finish our add stamina function here. So let's do that. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to call update stamina. Immediately call update stamina. Call this. Plug this guy in. And we're going to do some maths here. So I'm just going to copy the maths we did right here. And all we're going to do is just change this subtract to an add, and you can change this as this variable too, and let's just duplicate this variable. We're going to call this add stamina amount in case you want it to be something different from your drain amount. Add stamina amount, and then I'm just going to pull this guy onto there and it'll replace it, and plug that in right there. And then we're just going to plug that guy into our event dispatcher. So yeah, all we did here is we just changed this from a subtract to an add, and we replaced the drain stamina amount with an add stamina amount, but the value, since we duplicated it, is still just 0.5. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check if our current stamina is equal to our max stamina. So grab a branch. We're gonna grab our player stats here. And we're going to see if our current, get current stamina. We're going to see if this is equal to our max stamina. And plug this guy in right here. And if it is, we want to clear and invalidate our add stamina timer. So grab our add stamina timer, and we're just going to clear and invalidate timer by handle. So all we're doing here is we're basically saying if our stamina is full, we don't need this timer. We don't need any more stamina, so just clear it. We don't need that running. So that should be all we need here. So I'm just going to comment this. We're going to call this add stamina. And comment this one, call it drain stamina, and I'm just gonna clean this up a bit. And should be good. I think there's one last thing we need to do, which is back on our movement input. We need to add our stop sprinting and add stamina. So right here, we're going to stop sprinting. And we're going to add stamina. Actually, I don't think we even need to add stamina because on stop sprinting, we already add stamina. So we should just need the stop sprinting. So compile, save. And let's test it out. It should be good to go. So if we sprint, we can see our stamina bar starts to drain. If we still hold sprint down and just stop moving, it'll start adding stamina. If we let go of this sprint, you know, it just does its thing. If we crouch and we start sprinting, it pulls us up and we start sprinting, we start draining stamina. If we, let's see, what's another common bug that happens? If we sprint and then go into crouch, we are still draining stamina. So let's fix something there. So if we crouch, right here, we want to stop sprinting. So instead of this, we're just going to do stop sprinting, which should fix that bug. So if we sprint, let it drain some stamina, go into a crouch, it stops draining stamina and starts adding stamina. And if we try to sprint, it pulls us out and we start sprinting. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I mean, there could definitely still be some loose bugs around. It's very easy to end up with some stamina bugs. So if you run across any, definitely let me know those down in the comments, and we'll get it fixed. But I think it should be pretty much good. But yeah, we're gonna call it here for this one. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know those down in the comments. If you have any suggestions for tutorials you would like to see, also let me know those down in the comments. If you would like to help support the channel, we do have memberships, so yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.